come forward, state your name for the record, and present his or her request. The board will ask any questions they may have. Then anyone wishing to speak to the proposal will be asked to come forward and voice their opinions. Each side will have 10 minutes to speak. Once your request is heard and the board's decision is rendered, you may leave the meeting. However, if you have questions for staff, please wait until after the meeting is over to ask them, or you may contact the staff at the office the following day. And when you come up, please speak into the microphone for legal purposes. Once public testimony and discussion for a particular item has concluded, the members of the board will deliberate and render its decision. Members with a personal or financial interest in any request are required to recuse themselves from voting. All decisions by the Architectural Review Board are final. Any aggrieved parties may appeal a decision to the board to City Council within 15 days. Petitioners may also appeal the board's decision to the circuit court within 30 days of the meeting. Let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 7 members present with an 8th one, hopefully coming on their way. And because of the number of boards present, if you'd like to delay your request, please let us know at the time your request is announced. 5 make a quorum. 6 make, no, it's 5.
No, we have 6
Yeah.
here.
We got 7. 1, 2, 3. Oh, we got 6. Yep, you're right. All right, with 7 coming. All right, I would like this opportunity to introduce the members of the Architectural Review Board. Cedric Campbell,
He's on his
not
way.
here. Elizabeth Brown is not here. Barrett Penny is here. Jeremy Kelly, John Foshee, David Payne, Kalia Bell, and I'm Katie Williams. The land use staff is Christy Anderson, Russell Stringer, Ethan Fowler, Paula Wade, and Tanya Ingram. Okay, a quorum of the Architectural Review Board is 5 members of the 9-member board. Takes 5 votes in attendance to take action in the item.
Katie, you don't have to
And
read
5 members, or majority votes, are needed to pass a motion for approval or denial. A tie vote is a failed motion. All right. Any questions? Then we can receive Ramona Ashley, if you are here.
My name is Ramona Ashley. I am the owner of 1118 Magnolia Curve, and I am here to try and keep the shutters that were installed on my home. Is there anything else I need to say?
Were these like a redo of an existing shutter or new?
We
or?
did not have shutters on the house. They were added. We were painting, or we were just trying to update the exterior of the home and the yard and getting everything ready to put it on the market, which it is now.
It's on the market now?
Yes, it is.
All right, is there anyone in the audience to talk about this?
I have written comments from the Old Cloverdale Association. The person who was supposed to come has pneumonia, so he won't be here. On this one, their discussion at their neighborhood meeting, in their opinion, the shutters are not the correct size, and OCA does not know if the type of shutters would be appropriate for the style of house, so we will defer to the ARB on that. OCA would want correct size shutters installed.
And then I also have gone through the neighborhood, and that was a complaint. I guess I didn't realize I was supposed to be here at the last meeting. I apologize. And I took some photographs of several homes where the shutters, they're not able to close over any of the windows, and there would be no way to put a shutter large enough to close over the window to the right. They'd be quite disproportionate to the home if they closed. I have a house on South Girard I took a photo of on my phone that is kind of the same, a very similar design, that the shutters are not able to close over the window, if anyone would like to see it.
Well, really, the issue for the board is how it applies to your property versus other examples, because we don't know how long some of those other things have been there without doing
Gerard, though,
research.
is just a block away, though, isn't it?
Correct.
So it's
It
in the
is.
same neighborhood?
Yeah,
It's the same
Is it a
neighborhood.
Similar style?
It
or-
is very similar, actually. I have a photo right here.
Do y'all wish to see the photo?
I know after the last meeting, Elizabeth noted she thought the style for this particular house was fine, but her concern was that you should have 2 shutters to close over, and you're missing a shutter for each window. Or,
Well, with double windows, that's kind of a difficult thing.
and it won't fit. Right.
Do you want to see?
Yes, ma'am.
Sure.
And there were several homes back there. That was the next similar one I saw.
Does the board have any questions or comments?
How are they attached to the house? Are they just screwed to the brick?
Yes.
Great. Easily removable in the future
Yes.
if needed.
Any other questions or comments? Would the board like to make a motion?
I would like to recommend that, in spite of the letter from the Cloverdale Association, that we allow these shutters to remain, since they are removable and since they are handsome, in my opinion. That's not part of the motion. So my motion is that we allow these shutters to remain in place.
Second?
With the board, all in favor? None opposed? You may keep your shutters.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there anything else needed? I'm good, right?
Nope,
You're good.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
you'll get a letter that says that, so you're done.
Thank you.
Next up is Brian Holman.
Hey everyone, I'm Ryan Holman. Just purchased the property at 1225 Navarro. I've had it about a month, and we're renovating the inside and the outside. So I was painting the outside, the house gray. The shutters will be the dark gray, and the trim will be white. And I wanted to add an accent piece just on the front door of dark crimson red.
Do you have a sample of the color? Oh, never mind.
I mailed
It is.
in the sample. I didn't bring the
This be
sample.
it?
That's it,
It's
yes.
being passed down.
Has this color been approved by the board before, something similar?
You all have approved reds as accent colors in the past, if you felt that it, was in keeping with the style and the color scheme, of course.
How old is your house?
It was built in 1960.
Are there any questions or comments from the audience?
OCA had no issue,
Oak Cloverdale has no issues?
had no issue with the proposed color.
Is there any questions or comment from the board?
I have one, Ms. Anderson. This color is not on the palette? Is that why we're looking at it?
Correct.
Okay.
You're not planning, Mr. Holman, to put a big white A over that crimson, are you?
No, sir.
Okay.
Even though I am an Alabama fan, that's
right.
not
Well,
why I picked the
That's
red
right.
door.
Don't put the A on there.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve as submitted.
I'll second that.
All in favor? All opposed? Go paint that door.
All right, thank you.
And we are so excited Elizabeth is here.
That's why we
And
were
if-
able to move as fast as we were.
If Ashley Ledbetter can come up.
I'm Ashley Ledbetter, and I'm here on behalf of the City of Montgomery for Mayor Todd Strange. And we are requesting approval for removal of some trees and installation of a statue in front of Union Station. Am I supposed to read the thing, Kristen? No? Okay, sorry. The proposed statue is the same artist, but it would be a different size. This is the sketch that the artist has provided. It would be much lower in scale, very different appearance than the Rainbow Soldier, and would be on the opposite end of where the Rainbow Soldier is. I think there's the site plan, and it's where that grass spot is, and where that little yellow rectangle is and that's to scale of the size.
Is there a reason why you all want to remove the tree considering the scale of the proposed statue?
I think the idea was that to make that area similar to where the Rainbow Soldier was, and that we would have that concrete there to kind of match the two different areas. And without getting into the construction of it yet, I think it was that, well, if we decide to move the trees, it'd be better to ask permission now than it would be getting into it and go, ooh, we got to do that. The installation or the dedication date for this would not be until November of 2020.
Okay.
Can you explain which 3 trees it is, just to make sure I'm clear on the trees that we're talking about?
On the site plan, and I don't know if we have a close-up picture, but it's that little grass spot, and it's right there to the left. There's 3 ginkgo trees.
So it's where the driveway goes into, going back in the parking area in the back, kind of where?
I don't think there's a
No.
driveway on that side.
Tanya, can you go back 1 slide? 2 slides. There you go.
Yes, sir.
At the bottom.
It's almost towards the end of where like Lex is, and Fraser Lanier is further down to the left.
So is it the cluster of trees that's shown on that bottom
Yes, sir.
picture? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So the City of Montgomery Public Art Commission voted against this application?
That's correct.
So what does that mean exactly?
The Public Art Commission is the commission that is able to look at the subject matter and to make rulings or judgments based upon subject matter. And the idea was that, or the committee felt like that the subject matter was very grim and was not appropriate for the space and would be better suited for a different space.
So if they denied application for this space, can it not be put there?
That's its recommendation.
So we don't recommend whether we...
It's my understanding
We're here
that-
more for the tree, right?
I'm sorry.
But also whether or not you think the volume that will be occupied is visually intrusive or otherwise impacts a historic resource.
Is your microphone on?
It is.
It is.
Okay.
It's not very loud.
Okay.
The Alabama Historical Commission also holds an easement on this building, so they also have to review and approve it. So our primary concern is visual impact on a historic resource without editorializing subject matter.
When we did Rainbow Soldier, we had to present it to Public Art Commission, to this group, and to the State Historical Commission. So in order to even start looking at whether or not this would happen, Public Art Commission was first, then y'all, and then we'll send it to the Historical Commission
All
for the
right.
state.
About the trees, is there any thought about replacement of the trees if you're taking trees down as it normally does on any other property?
We did not for the one 2 years ago. So no, we haven't made any types of recommendations for that. Yes, ma'am.
How did they feel about the Rainbow Soldier?
Ms. Bell, can you please use your
Oh,
microphone?
I'm sorry. How did they feel about the Rainbow Soldier on the other side? Were they against
They,
that one
meaning
too?
Public Art Commission?
Yes.
They were in favor of it and very much felt like that it went along with the building and in terms of the historical significance.
Did they give more of a reasoning why they were against it? I mean, considering both of them are pretty much about death, so.
Well, if you look at the two different,
scales of them?
well, the scale, but if you look at the two different statues, they are very different. The one that is being proposed or is it under construction is a dead soldier under a shroud. There is no facial features.
Right.
One arm is hanging out, one
Right.
leg, if you look at the description, is
Right.
hanging out.
I guess I don't have it. I think they're kind of equal in when you're talking about the grim nature of war or whatever you want to call it. They pretty much balance out to me. So that's why I was asking, because
Right.
I was trying to figure out if they weren't opposed to one,
Sure.
why this one?
I guess you'd have to ask them.
Okay,
So,
gotcha.
But that was the,
Yeah, I didn't know whether they had given you all that answer, and I was. Just
well, I mean, in terms of what the in terms of what's in your letter is that the grim nature of it and that it was not something that in front of the visitor center, I mean, basically we've already got one.
Right.
And that
Okay, we already have. Okay, I got you.
we've got one and that maybe two might be a little much.
Pushing it. I
Well,
got
you know, the character of the other statue is uplifting in that it shows a soldier carrying his dead comrade.
And there's a lot of facial features.
Right, and this is not that. And you mentioned the visitor center. I mean, here it is, right next door to the visitor center. It is of a different scale. I'm not sure whether the person is the same scale as the soldier as far as its height. I don't know really how tall the soldier is, the Rainbow Soldier, whether he's as tall as the corpse. But it does have a different effect on me, at least, to see the Rainbow Soldier, which is uplifting, and then to see this, it's not. And I know we're not supposed to talk about the, quote, the public inspiration of it, or it's, but how can you not? I mean,
Well,
it's a visual thing.
That
and
is a visual impact.
and it has a visual impact. And so as a more appropriate place for this statue to honor the dead, to show a man that died fighting for this country at a cemetery, at Arlington Cemetery or at a military cemetery, rather than outside the visitor center of Montgomery, Alabama. I'm a little worried about the appropriateness of it, and also that it would take away from the strength of and the power of the Rainbow Soldier carrying his fallen comrade. That's just me.
Is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak to this? Come forward to the microphone, please.
Hi, my name is Hank Touton. I'm the property owner just right next door at 210 Water Street. I was before you about a year ago, and I appreciate the consideration that you gave my property for the work that we did. My only comments are this, and I just found out about it, but being a 30-year veteran of the military, I really appreciate what was done by our military. Just a year ago, I had the opportunity to go to Omaha Beach and to Argo, and I saw death. And I understand the impact of that very much. I think there's no more appropriate place than the train station, Union Station, where our soldiers left and returned, and many of them dead. I'm totally in favor of the positioning of it. Thank you.
Is there any more discussion from the board? Any more questions?
My whole issue with it is the scale. We have on one side, the train station, we have the real tall statue, the Rainbow Soldier, and then this is kind of this horizontal element, and I just think it's going to look minuscule in comparison of size.
I think
That's my whole issue.
For that reason, I think the trees would need to stay. Because then you would have something that was vertical.
That was my concern and the question, why were you all removing the tree? Because I personally am in favor of the statue, but the scale, the trees really, in my opinion, help balance the scale because it's so low. I just think the trees should stay if you're gonna have something that is to scale, to human scale. Because the statue, the Rainbow Soldier, he's a big guy. And, when you go there, he's a formidable guy over there.
Mm-hmm. There's actually 3 sets of ginkgo trees on each end of the building, kind of like bookends, if you will. If you remove one set, it's just a nice element to have for that building there. I would really try to retain those trees as much as you could.
If there's no further discussion, may I have a motion?
Can the motion be that okay, I would like to, I'd like to move or motion?
Either one.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the statue as proposed, but retain the trees as they are. Or if you're going to remove them, replace them with something of a similar size and stature,
Where?
right where they are. To keep the balance of the trees, because I'm looking at a picture online, and they really are placed in front of that building quite perfectly. So I believe that balance does need to be retained.
The trees at the other end were removed when they put the other statue in.
Oh, so, okay, so our picture's not, okay.
Yeah, the trees are gone, it's complete concrete.
Okay, so the picture we have is old.
It's
Not-
okay,
I'm sorry.
it's okay.
That's the statue.
Oh, okay.
Well, there's still a planting bed down there at the end, but there are no trees in
No,
it.
ma'am, there are no trees.
Okay, yeah, the other picture doesn't have trees.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I think I need to rescind my
Okay.
motion because the trees actually don't exist. Are you all gonna make the concrete, the same concrete on this side?
I would imagine so, but we haven't gotten that far in terms of, once this is done, this will have to be put before the new administration that's coming in, so.
Okay, I have a question then, before I make a motion. Can we request that the concrete be made equal on both sides, since it is concreted on the other side with the other soldier, so that at least we retain that type of symmetry?
I think it's too much concrete, but that's,
I would have thought too much concrete from the beginning,
yeah.
but since it's there, do we follow suit, or do we ask not to follow suit and do something totally different?
I think we all like how nice the trees look right now and the grass looks right now on that side. I hate to see that go too.
I prefer grass and trees, but I also like symmetry. I really like the trees. I really don't want to get rid of the trees, but
All right, you made a motion.
and I took.
I'll second it.
All right.
Okay.
So,
It's on the floor. We'll second it. We'll figure
No,
out.
but she
what
said
is
she
the
was going to
motion? I think
rescind
we're trying
it.
to clarify that.
Did you make a new motion, or did
Okay.
you rescind your motion?
Okay, I move that we accept the proposed the
Statue.
statue as presented and keep the trees on the end.
What about the grass?
Okay, so
Well, you need to keep the grass where the trees are.
Yeah.
Right.
In the area of the
So-
trees. Yeah.
yeah, because like the yellow block is only showing the area where the actual thing will be.
That's correct.
But is there going to be an area that's going to be paved so that people can walk up to it?
I would imagine so. So I would imagine it wouldn't be that we would keep all of the grass. I would imagine I could see half of it going.
Okay, well, does that need to come before the board, or how does that go?
I think we make that
Can-
part of the
can we
motion.
make that
We can make
here?
it part of the motion. Mr. Stringer, do you think keeping half of that grassed area would be safe for those trees?
I hate to have an opinion on this project.
Well, I just loop you in.
Yes, you do need to retain some open ground around the trees to keep trees healthy.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
The motion, so I move that we accept the statute as presented, but retain at least half of the grass surrounded for the trees to have that. And you all will let us know what the concrete is gonna look like. Please.
All right. A second?
Second.
All in favor? Is there any further discussion? All right, all in favor?
1, 2, 3. 3.
Then we need another motion.
Well, you need to finish voting.
You gotta
You
get your
gotta
nose.
finish voting, Ms. Brown. I gotta know.
Yeah, get
that.
your
You're
nose.
abstaining.
How many
Get your
noes?
nose.
You got a second?
You gotta finish, we gotta finish, okay,
There were
yes.
3 yeses, and we're all here today.
So, no, you gotta ask.
All right, how many, I'm sorry. How many noes?
1, 2, 3, 4.
So there's still.
Come on, David.
David, how are you voting?
He's abstaining.
Are you abstaining?
I'm an abstainer right now.
One abstain.
All
And,
right.
and because I'm an abstainer, let me speak if I may, Mr.
Okay,
Chairman.
certainly.
That this is, you know, an emotional issue, and I certainly appreciate your comments. Montgomery has a lot of military history, and we've suddenly focused 2 statues of World War I on either side of the entrance to the Visitor Center. And I mean, I think this is a very appropriate statue to be located somewhere. I'm not sure that to honor the men right there. I know they left from Union Station. There were probably men that left to go to World War II from Union Station as well, or Korea. And it just seems almost as though it's an overemphasis. This is just me again, and that's why I'm abstained, that it's an overemphasis on a particular time frame in Montgomery's life and in the world's life to feature that right there. And I'm a little ambivalent about the appears to be 2 posts that it's sitting on, 2 piers, and you know how that not being a
They're gonna build a plinth out of the same blocks that are underneath the other statue, according to the information.
well, it looks,
I mean, this is what we have.
Okay,
yeah, isn't that 2 plinths? And that
Yeah.
2 basically, you know, so I mean, it's kind of a different base, and maybe it should be a different base, and so it's a low statue, but you know, I've seen some strange-looking art out in front of big buildings, and so this is not strange-looking. They're both great. So I can't really comment to the relationship of the 2 there together, except that one may take a little bit away from the other rather than enhance it. Maybe there's another location where it could have more prominence than adjacent to another statue representing the same time frame in Alabama, United States, and world history.
I'm sure this came up at this time because it's been the centennial of World War I.
Well, I'm not sure of that. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's what drove this or not.
I'm pretty sure.
One thing I would ask you about the board, the Public Art Commission. Well, how large is that board?
There are 8 members and 3 ex officio.
Kind of a pretty diverse group of age and race and everything else. And
Yes, sir.
how did they vote on this? I mean, was it 7-0, or 8-0, or 10-0, or
It was
5-4?
It was the majority, and we don't reveal how many voted. Either way, we're not,
You didn't say unanimous. You said it was a majority. Is that
it
right?
was very much the majority,
Very much the majority.
very much the majority.
Does someone else have a motion? Another viewpoint that perhaps would achieve more consensus? We have to do something.
Did y'all not just vote?
We did, but the motion didn't
carry.
pass, so you could just go away unhappy.
It's okay. All
Well,
right, thank you.
I will tell you that if this board does not take an action that
Yes.
carries, that the petition is automatically approved within 75 days.
Okay.
So automatically what?
Approved within 75 days. So if you do not take an active motion to either pass or approve, disapprove, table for more information on pavement or whatever, it's an automatic approval if this body takes no action.
I have a motion then to disapprove this on the basis of that I'd like the trees to stay. I don't think there's enough material on what's going on in the site work. And I also think that as a horizontal plane with areas that kids can get up and down on it, I think that you might have some issues with people getting hurt jumping on and off the thing.
Understand.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
1, 2, 3, 4.
4. Opposed?
1, 2.
2. All right.
That one was even worse than the first one. 4, 2, and 2. Do we have 2 abstentions? Cedric, what did you?
I'll abstain on that one.
You abstained. Okay, 2 abstentions.
I hadn't thought about the children jumping up and down, but I will. Yeah, yeah.
Madam Chair, I have a motion. Can we table
Well, that
this?
one passed now.
No,
That
no,
one
it
did
didn't.
not pass.
4,
4 to 2.
it takes 5 to pass, okay. Yes,
Can we table this to the next meeting? Have a further discussion?
it's next month. We can
We,
ask
we
for-
may not get a motion. I mean, I may
We
not
can-
get a second. I'm
we
just,
can-
You
we
know,
can-
Cedric, you raise a good point, excuse me, Elizabeth. We don't really know exactly where this is going to go. I mean, we don't have well, I guess we do, but we don't really seem to, I don't at least understand its relationship and height to the other building. I mean, perhaps there needs to be a rendering that someone would do that would kind of show the two in that context with the building behind them and show what the base really would look like, not some kind of sketch that's a little bit hard to understand. Maybe we need a more specific presentation to show the two in relation to each other, since that's what we're supposed to be weighing, is their relationship to each other and their appropriateness in scale to each other.
The height will not be any taller than 5 feet, and the base of it will be, because the height of it is, basically the height will be no further than 5 feet tall.
But how
And
tall is the
if
base
it's-
of the rainbow soldier?
It's much
The
taller.
Rainbow Soldier, it's 2 stories high. I mean, by the finished product.
So that even the
I mean, they're
base-
completely different in terms of what they will look like. In terms of relation of this will be 2 stories high. The base of it is almost
Not
10
even to the
feet
base.
tall.
Right, it's not even-
And then what I'm saying is the one that's horizontal will not be more than 5 feet tall in its completed stage.
So the base, the limestone base that we're seeing is literally nearly 10 feet tall? on the
Yeah,
rainbow
almost,
soldier?
yes, sir. I think.
No, it's
David,
not
don't
that
quote
tall.
me on that.
So doesn't that kind of prove the point that we do need to see something in terms of context and
Yes.
site
Yes.
plan?
We
If we're all
need-
just sitting there going, it's going to be about like this, there's no context. There's no context to the building.
Yeah.
So I would second Cedric's motion to table it until further
We need a better site plan that
documentation is
shows.
presented to
Yeah,
us.
we need a better site plan that shows exactly how it's going to be.
And a front rendering, so you
Yes.
see it adjacent to the building.
Yes.
Do we want that rendering also to include Rainbow Soldier so that we can see?
Yes, ma'am,
from-
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes.
So the whole facade.
Yes.
we're asking for more information, do we have to do a motion on it?
There is a motion and a second to table for more information,
Okay,
isn't there? Cedric and David?
Yes.
Yes.
yes, okay.
So I'm confused. So the 2 votes didn't count?
They need 5 votes to carry the motion,
Okay.
and neither one had 5 votes, either
Okay.
way.
Understood. All right, so just so I understand, y'all would like a full rendering that has the entire building that shows the Rainbow Soldier along with the Return from Aragon statue that has the proposed plinth along with the grass, and basically you want the...
Site plan.
And that can, and a site plan, right? And of course, the rendering can be a photoshopped photograph that basically, takes what's there and then superimposes the new proposed work
Okay.
to the west of it.
Is the site plan that we submitted not sufficient?
No.
No,
Okay.
We're talking about,
wanna see-
whether the trees stay or go, the concrete or the walk to it, the amount of grass, what it looks like
Yeah,
with
the si-
everything completed, not just plunking it into the earth.
The site plan would give us an exact size of that concrete, an exact placement of that concrete.
Well, the
where
proposed was that we were going to take everything out and have that there, so there was no,
Exactly, but if we would like for you all to
Sure.
keep the trees, so
Yeah.
now we need to know how much concrete is gonna be there, and we wanna know how the trees are gonna look in reference to our Rainbow Soldier and our Aragon Man.
all right.
okay.
May I have a second to Cedric's motion?
Second.
David did a second.
David did it, all right. All in favor of requesting more information? Opposed?
I'm abstaining from that one.
All right.
Thank
So,
y'all.
Carries.
we need more information. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was a little bit torturous.
Glad you came.
Robert Henderson, request for tree removal of the property at 1111 Westmoreland Avenue, Old Cloverdale. He has a big dead tree in his front yard.
That's me.
Would that be the road there?
Holy smokes.
What happened to it?
Old age. Say something.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I'm Robert Henderson. I live at 1111 Westmoreland, and I would like to remove the 2 pine trees in my front yard. One is dead, and the other one, let's just take them both out to
Did they get
re-landscape the yard. I know my neighbors would much rather see a nice yard than the clay and dug up dirt that is there now.
And it looks like you're proposing a Japanese maple and a dogwood
Yes, ma'am.
to be planted in the fall in
Mhm.
locations determined appropriate?
Mr. Stringer, it's time for you to weigh in.
Yes.
He does not need approval from the board to remove a dead pine tree.
Got it.
So y'all are looking at the one remaining pine tree that is perfectly healthy, and I have to say, in a neighborhood known for its large pine trees.
Mr. Henderson, I'd have to say I do not have a problem with the removal
Oh,
of
there you
of the dead pine tree, but I have a hard time approving the healthy tree. I think, sounds like you said one of your concerns is, I guess grass is not growing under there, but I think certain species of grass could grow in that area.
Yeah, another problem that is in my yard is that it's kind of bowl-shaped and everything runs to the sidewalk, all the water and everything. I'd like to regrade my yard so things spread out a little better. I don't have water literally flowing down my sidewalk. And to do that, removal of that tree would make that a lot easier.
For the grading.
So,
Would that remove the wall? I'm sorry, I'm over here.
oh,
Would you have to remove the wall to do that, though?
no,
Okay.
no. If you're looking at the house in that, like in that picture right there, all the water goes to the right and down the sidewalk. I'd like to regrade the yard so things flow evenly or even to the left of the house to the abandoned lot next door.
If you put about 2 feet of fill around that tree, it'll take care of itself in about 2 or 3 years.
That's true.
Is there anyone in the audience to speak to this project?
OCA is not in favor of cutting down a healthy tree. From the pictures, it doesn't seem the tree is causing damage to the house, so OCA is in agreement with the urban forester's comments.
All right. Any more comments from the board? May I have a motion then?
I can do it.
John Fushy, you're falling down on your job.
I would make a motion that we remove the tree that's dead and leave the tree that's alive.
Second. Second.
All in favor?
Oh, wow, that's disappointing.
Partial success here today.
Christie, do we not need a reason for the denial?
We do.
So I amend my motion to say because we've been informed that the tree that I suggested be left to remain is a healthy pine tree.
And in character of the neighborhood.
And in the character, as Cedric said, of the neighborhood,
How is that?
with the neighborhood.
Do we need to vote again?
That's fine.
All right. Thank you.
Well, that's a bummer.
Catherine Floyd. Tree removals and replacement for the property located at 3318 Lexington.
Yes, hi, I'm Catherine Floyd. We're requesting the removal of 5 trees from the yard. We have a very wooded yard. These are all problematic trees in some way. We have a Bradford pear that's right at the front of the house that's quite tall and forked. A mimosa tree that's at the foundation edge of the house by the driveway. A very large mimosa in the backyard that's trying to spread itself all around the yard. And then in the side yard between our property and Paul and Kathy Vincent's property, we have a pecan tree and a box elder. These 2 trees are about 14 feet from our foundation and about 11 or 12 feet from the Vincent's foundation. They are growing up over the Vincent's roof, over where they park their cars, over all of the power lines that are coming into our house and over our roof. And so we're asking to replace these 5 trees with some smaller specimens. We're happy to hear suggestions from Mr. Stringer about good replacements, but we've suggested some ornamentals that would be smaller and that would fit better with our very large tree canopy in the yard. We're interested in native species too, if that's possible.
Mr. Springer?
I wish he would have asked for approval of the popcorn tree as well.
Where is the popcorn tree?
The popcorn tree is
Right
right
out
at the
front.
front of the house. We would like to remove that at some point too, but right now we're saving up our pennies to have these trees removed.
So you know that the popcorn tree is on Mr. Springer's hit list?
Yes, we agree too. Yeah, yeah.
Maybe he'll come remove it for you.
All right, is there anyone in the audience to speak to this project?
Our neighbors are here.
All right.
I'm Kathy Vincent. We are very much in support of this request. We've not been able to park in our driveway.
You need to speak into the.
I'm Kathy Vincent. We're the next door neighbors. We would very much, every time it storms, we're afraid it's going to come down on our house and we can't park in that part of the driveway. So we appreciate it. We support it.
All right. Any discussion from the board? May I have a motion then?
Move to approve as submitted.
Second? Come on, second it.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Your motion has passed.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know if it's going.
I will not be voting
Oh,
on
no,
this
John
topic.
O'Shea. Okay, the request for approval of facade renovations and signage at 23 South Court Street.
Yes, ma'am. I'm John Toshi, representing Sanctuary Investment Group. We came forward the board with another owner, previous owner, about a year or so ago, requested feedback on increasing the height of the parapet to allow for a single slope roof to the back of the property. After that approval, or after that guidance, let me say, it wasn't approval, after the guidance, the previous owner went ahead with the parapet extension and also the single slope roof. He thence sold the property, and a new owner has purchased property, and that's who I'm representing today. New owner would like to renovate the building to be used as a retail cigar store. Owner requests the following changes. They'd like to increase the height of the parapet as currently built, reconfigure the first floor storefront, replace the windows or the plywood openings with weather shield aluminum clad windows. On two of the second floor windows, the two on the outsides, they would like to install casement windows. Historically, it would be a 1/1 hung window. They would like to install casement windows so they could have a larger opening because they want to open those windows often. And they want to apply some horizontal buttons to give the appearance of a 1/1 window. In addition, they'd like to replace or repair the existing trim on the outside, add 2 external lights, paint the entire facade a color that I will pass around to the board, and then add a small blade sign to the front.
This is the facade? Is this the window or the facade?
That is the facade color.
And it faces west?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Cutting edge.
Isn't it?
It looks good, John.
It does look good.
You're not really raising the height of the facade any higher than you had already done in the Ins-Glass, if I measured it correctly. Is that right?
That's correct. It's as shown on the pictures here.
Which we previously approved, right?
Yeah, previously provided guidance.
Right.
The bulkhead on a building of this period, that piece that's below the window, really wouldn't have gone all the way to the street level, like, except for that one brick width. It wouldn't have gone that far during that period. It's not what I would call appropriate.
Okay.
The desire may be to make it look more like the other 2 doors, but it ought to be at least, a foot or 18 inches.
That's a good catch.
I sort of did it for a living.
Well, I know. It's going to be hard to tile up under that door, though.
Well, then, if it's a door, then it's okay for it to go to the street. But the window, it would still be, in this period of time, you would still have more of a bulkhead than that.
So you're saying, Catherine, you're saying just leave or maybe you are saying this, to leave the existing tile under the window on the left side.
The tile's not historic. They could change it out to something else if they wanted to. And it's a little bit high, but it's okay the way it is.
But
the owner's desire was to match the doors on the right side with the window on the left to be about the same height. That's why that bulkhead is so small.
Yeah, I understand that, but that's not what they would have done at the time. They would have just put the bulkhead under the window and then had 2 doors. The end one obviously goes upstairs, is that correct?
That's correct.
Right. That kind of all the way down to the street glass didn't really come into the 50s. Does anyone from the audience have a comment on this project? Any more comments from the board?
Is it the second story windows supposed to be full casement? Or are you doing the 1/1 double hung like they used to be?
So just the two outside windows are proposed to be full casement windows with an applied mutton bar across to give the look of a
So it would still look like
1/1.
these windows, but
Okay.
it would be a casement so that they could get more than.
Okay, so it would have the look of a double hung.
That's right.
And that button goes on the outside?
Yes, outside and inside.
And the one in the middle?
It's just a non-operable, actually, the one in the center is operable.
Double hung look?
Casement as drawn, and then all the other windows surrounding the smaller windows are face glass.
Okay.
That building's had a varied lifestyle, huh?
It's gone through a lot.
May I have a motion on this project?
If you want to phrase your comment, I'll put it in a motion.
Okay. The bulkhead.
Were you okay with that, John?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I thought so.
I think everything else is just fine, but the bulkhead on the window needs to be at least 1 foot or 18 inches.
Okay. That's my
I don't know
motion,
how many
Paula.
centimeters that is.
I got it.
Are you gonna make the motion?
She's got it.
Okay.
He made
All
the
right, a
motion.
second? All right, all in favor?
Keep it simple.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fauci. Robert Roberts, 3123 Lexington Road, Cloverdale. The petitioner is requesting to retain the blue accent color on the front door.
Hello, how's everybody doing this evening? I'm Corporal Roberts with the Montgomery Police Department. I've been with the city of Montgomery for 11 years, and I'm an accident investigator with the city of Montgomery. Me and my family reside at 3123 Lexington Road. We have a house, we've been there about 6 years. The front door was in need of repair. It was cracked, sun faded, so I took a couple days and sanded the door down myself. Used some wood putty, fixed the door up, and then I repainted the door. As you can see, the door is not the normal palette. It's a blue door. It's a blue door because I'm a Montgomery police officer. I'm not a firefighter, so that's the reason why it's not a red door. All right. I did it as a representation of what I do for a living for the city of Montgomery. And I hope the panel will understand the reason why I did it and show me leniency and let me keep the door blue.
I'm not going to vote against you.
Thanks, sir.
I'm thinking back on the man on Graham Street that had the green door. Remember him? I see him in the grocery store all the time. He avoids me.
He was a horticulturist, sure.
No, he was not.
Get it green. Get it.
He got to repaint his door.
He got to repaint his door. Your house is very handsome, and I can tell it's beautifully maintained.
Thank you, ma'am.
And I appreciate that, but I do not like the door.
You,
I would not object to a blue door, although I don't think it would be the best, but this one is just a little loud.
Actually what I did was I Googled it. I looked around and I seen the fad for 2018 and 2019 was warm, welcoming colors. And actually I seen blue on there. I said, that's awesome. A blue door would look great. And it kind of represents what I do. You see a police car in my driveway. And I just couldn't fathom painting my door the crimson or red, the hose draggers, the other side. So that's the reason why I painted it blue.
Now, Elizabeth, this is changeable at some future point. You know, it's only paint.
We made that man on Grand Street repaint his green door. You would have thought it was the end of the world. Is there anyone from the audience? Did I ask that already? Oh, yes.
I'm Elaine Kiefer. I'm here.
You can just bend it down.
Okay.
It's very easy.
Okay. I'm here, Charlie Colvin couldn't make it. He's normally here for the neighborhood, so I'm speaking for the Neighborhood Association. As you can tell, that color is not on the historic palette, and the neighborhood association would prefer that the color be changed to something on the historic palette that's a little more in keeping with the rest of the colors on the house.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Is there a blue on the color palette?
Not that blue.
I didn't
I
ask
brought
you
the
that.
board. We've got a few blues.
Where's the real blue? I don't even see a blue. It's not missing it.
By the way, we all appreciate everything you do for the
Yes,
city.
ma'am, thank you.
Is there like a navy-ish or?
Something that sort of coordinated with the roof would be, because this is a really blue-gray kind of roof color.
What color is that? Right next to your thumb? Yes. Oh, okay. From over here, it looks like a.
Yeah,
It does look sort of like a bluish.
we get a shine on it from the. That's better. That's better.
It's hard to call any of those blue.
Yeah, I don't think we're averse to a blue door, but maybe one that's a little more muted in its enthusiasm.
If it makes any difference, I checked with my neighbors and stuff. Everybody that's around me said they love the blue door. So
You had your uniform on too, didn't you? Let's face it.
They saw
nobody
the car in the
directly said that they
driveway.
didn't like it. I got neighbors directly next door to me and across from me, and they all seemed to like the blue door. They
Well,
would-
someone didn't, because I got several phone calls and emailed photographs. So,
Well, looking at the color of the door before it was blue, it was a lot darker, and it didn't stand out as much as the blue just pops, and that's it. I agree, it's a little much.
Now, Robert, tell the truth. Is that a police blue or is that an Auburn blue?
Neither.
This looks more like.
It's not an Auburn blue, I don't think.
This looks more like University of Florida's blue.
Ooh,
All right, may I have a motion on the door?
Would you consider painting it another blue?
that's the thing. The palette doesn't have any blues. They're all going to be
Right.
Well,
No, I
that's
mean, just
okay. You can submit another color that's not on the palette that we can approve. So
Okay.
that's how that works. So you're welcome to the infinite colors of a little bit more muted colors. Like I
Like
mean, I
your
wouldn't be
uniform.
averse to like a more of a navy color blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, how bad is that?
Or a gray navy
got you.
blue, or just something maybe more darker in appearance, or even,
Still
I don't know,
blue.
for later.
Still
Still
blue.
identifiable as a blue
And it can still be a
door.
little bit on the bright side, but it just doesn't need to be quite that.
Neon.
Christie will help you pick it out.
we'll put some blues up and we'll throw a dart. But you can select multiple colors as well. I mean, if you find some blues that you think might work with the color of the house and the brick and the roof color, you don't have to keep just flinging one color to see if one of them's going to stick. So if there's a range of colors, or one section on a chip deck that's got maybe 3 or 4 colors on it, we can do multiples and run it through that way.
And Officer Roberts got a lot more to do than come see us. Can he not do this with you if we authorize you to help him select a blue that we'll all love?
I don't know if I want that hanging on my head. I mean, we could certainly, and it'd probably be easier to look at it on site as well, with some samples and look at it. I mean, we can do that, and if I feel queasy about anything that he loves, I'll tell him he has to come back. How about that?
All right, now that we've decided what to do, a motion?
So I would make a motion that Officer Roberts bring bring Christy Anderson, our executive director, several blue possibilities for her to look at and consult with him about in the effort to obtain a blue that would be satisfactory to both him and the ARB.
Second?
All in favor? Opposed? All right.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you,
very
Colonel.
welcome.
Barrett, did you vote? Did you abstain? Okay.
Matthew Jones is next, number 10 Howard Street.
Barrett doesn't want to be pulled over in a few minutes when he leaves that.
Good evening. I'm actually David Swinsick. I'm the contractor. Matthew Jones, they're from California.
David Swindle?
Swinsick, S-W-I-N-S-I-C-K.
Thank you.
Well, tell us what you're doing at these apartments.
A complete overhaul, basically. Christy, how do you want me to
What happened, they pulled a permit for interior renovations, or at least that's what was stipulated on the permit issued by the building department. And then we got a complaint that they had replaced windows. The building was constructed in, I think it was 1974. Some of the windows had been replaced by a previous owner before the property was boarded up and abandoned. So when they saw, it had aluminum windows originally, when they saw the replacement vinyl windows that were in place, they just thought that they could go ahead and put those in the rest of it and continue the work that had started that we didn't see or get complaints about previously. So it's the window replacement in part because the windows were very short as well to meet some egress issues because they're now casement windows. And then those outdoor, the upper balconies were metal and concrete that they replaced with wood.
Now, wait a minute. Did you say that there were already some windows in the building that were
Yes.
same as the window has put in?
On the interior, it's
Yes.
like, what, 3 buildings that makes a kind of a little courtyard, and some of those interior facing windows had been swapped out, but we got a call when the windows that actually face Court Street were switched out.
Are these vinyl windows or
They're
are they
vinyl
composite?
windows. They
They're-
replaced an aluminum window, so neither window would have been one that you all would have approved. I mean, he didn't replace a historic window because it's not a historic window.
Right.
And we had to go with the casement windows to meet egress.
Because the windows openings aren't large enough to use a sash.
But there were already existing casement windows there that
Yes.
do match
That is my understanding, yes.
what he's put in.
Yes, sir.
So this would be a uniform change to the rest of the property.
And you didn't take out those windows. You left them in
No.
place and have only taken out the aluminum windows.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
And they're all casement now.
Yes, sir. They're all casement uniform now.
Well, there's not much charming about the original windows.
It was
No,
just
sir.
the time.
I know.
Not much charming about that.
The whole complex. It's tough. It's rough.
I've kind of got a problem with those wood posts that you've got on the holding the decks up.
Yes, ma'am.
Has that been designed by a structural engineer?
No, ma'am, but I can get a letter from an engineer on that right there.
I mean,
It is code.
Are those
it's
wood or
buckling.
Well,
Are
you,
those wood or those steel?
No, right here. That's good.
no, ma'am.
Wow. Not sure I'd go on that balcony. That's part of the construction too.
Sir,
These
yes, sir.
balconies are part of the construction.
Yes, sir, it is.
Yeah, I think you're gonna need you'd be wise to see about getting a structural engineer to bless that, because I think he's gonna want to double or triple up on
It looks like it's already buckling.
Okay, well,
And a metal 4-inch post is different than a wood 4-inch post in terms of its structural values.
well, it is, but that is code right there. But I'll be more than happy to get
Why do you say it's code?
I'm sorry, ma'am?
You've got a span of what, 8 feet?
From where? No, ma'am, that's only 4 feet.
I'm talking left to right.
I'll have to look
You've
on
got
that.
two
It's-
4x4 posts holding up a deck of 10 feet wide.
That's correct, but most of the weights is on the band and lag bolted to the back of the building.
Not really.
Okay,
It's two posts in the front, and then it's
Sure.
holding it in the back.
okay. Yes,
We've
ma'am.
all taken some structural courses, sir.
Well, okay. And I'll be happy, I'll get an engineer.
We've done this before. Don't try to double talk.
Just to add, even with a structural stamp on that one, just for safety precautions, I would think that you would want to kind of double up, because you really can't ensure the people, the tenants who you will ultimately have in those areas won't overcrowd, you
Yes,
know.
ma'am.
I mean, just from seeing accident after accident after accident, I wouldn't feel safe
Yes, ma'am.
having, you know, that.
Yeah, you need to thank Ms. Williams for seeing that, because that's an accident waiting to happen.
So do you want me to change them out to metal post, or would y'all like for me to
Yeah,
Yes, already.
change them to metal,
Yeah.
metal 4-inch tubes?
because there's not a huge difference between the wooden rail and the metal rail, but those, I mean, you've already got metal posts.
Reuse them.
Reuse them.
They was rusted out. They was, I don't know if you was able to, any of the pictures are up there.
They've got, there are more.
But they was rusted. There's,
Okay.
no, but that's not an issue at all.
Okay. Is there anyone from the audience who wants to speak to this project? Is there any more discussion from the board?
I would suggest that before you do any swapping out, you might have one of the building inspectors come out and make sure that the new just swapping out a post of the same size that you took out is going to meet the code that you need to carry that load.
Yes,
So I
ma'am.
do that before, I don't want you having to do things over and over and over.
Yes, ma'am.
A motion?
So are you planning on painting the wood decks and the wood post or metal post all the same color? as they
The
previously were?
owners haven't said yet. We told them they'd wait a little while, let them dry out if they do. So, but no, sir.
You said no to painting? Did you say no?
It's not in the plan right now. They haven't told me if they wanted to or not, because it needed to dry out a little bit before. But if they need to be painted, I can tell them. We can have them painted.
How many apartment units are there?
It's 18.
18.
The right side's got 6, less 4, and there's 8 across the back.
Are we ready for a motion?
Did you ask for comments from the audience?
I did.
Okay. I missed it. Sorry.
I've made all the motions I could make tonight. I'm done.
You've done a great job.
Thank you. I can see Cedric is waiting to make a motion down there.
I've had a motion or two tonight as well, David. I'm with you. I'm gonna let somebody else step up.
You have exceeded your usual quota for sure. Where is John Hayden when you need him?
I mean, really.
My motions tend to make me ask more questions, so I'm just gonna wait.
All right.
I move that we approve as submitted and ask that the owner please speak with the engineer / building department about the post on the
Okay,
porches.
yes, sir.
Second?
I'll second that.
All in favor? Opposed? All right.
Cedric, how
Did we add to paint the balconies?
We did not.
Can we? And vote again?
Yeah.
I would like to add that we,
I was about to ask him what was
that we
Yes,
that we
that would be
paint the
great. Good
balconies a color that's makes them not stand out like a sore thumb like they do right now.
Okay.
But you do, of course, you know you need to make it, let
Yes,
it dry
ma'am.
out a little bit first.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'd like to amend my motion to include painting the porches, please.
What color? You have just a palette?
Of course, a palette
Off the
color.
palette.
Okay.
Blue,
No.
blue,
I don't know about that.
The policeman may have some paint left over.
Yes, ma'am.
John, have you got John's motion?
She's writing.
I'm sorry? I got it.
Okay, do we need to re-vote since he amended it?
Yes.
All right, all in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Josh Husted, request for the approval of a rear deck for the property at 642 Felder Avenue, Old Cloverdale.
Hello again.
Hello again.
Mr. Payne, I appreciated your joke about the horticulturalist and green door.
But they said he was a lawyer.
Oh,
Green for money.
I laughed at it.
It was a good joke. All right, what are you going to do today?
So today, I'm coming before you guys respectfully requesting the approval of an extension of the existing patio. The idea is that I believe in a previous ARB meeting, there was a door, well, currently there's a door that leads to nowhere off the sunroom that I was here speaking about last time. And I believe there was a set of stairs that was disapproved and then torn down.
they collapsed, actually. There were concrete steps there and they collapsed.
Okay, okay. And the idea is to extend that rear deck around and connect to where that door is. So you just have it, yeah, there you go. So, I mean, in terms of the flow and when you're trying to walk from the kitchen to the back patio to grill or, do anything like that, the idea is not to be carrying your, steaks and marinade or whatever through 7 different rooms and have like a Kevin in the Office chili moment for fans of the show. And, it just makes a lot more sense to walk around that way. I do realize that, one of the things that when I was thinking about this was the fact